Hello everybody, welcome to another Making Monday Lovable video. Today's video is called What Goes into Scientific Illustration and the Important Things. And I decided to do this video because recently I got triggered by a couple of situations that occurred to me. And I then thought into it, felt into it, and I questioned why I got triggered and why it affected me. And the situations were that I had a chat meeting with a couple of potential customers. It was really a nice and cool project. And before we even had like quick talks about price as well. And then when it came to estimating a budget, I estimated a range of a budget, and I got questioned about it, what's included in that. And in one case, the people were not able to fit that scale of the budget. And then it never came to working together because I decided not to accept a lower compensation after explaining what gets into it, and also explaining that I have clients that are able to pay me, and that I value my time and I respect my time, and those clients that are able to afford my services. So I cannot compromise on that. And it was like 2-3 situations similar to this, and they triggered me. I felt like something was off there, and at times I felt a bit annoyed, even though I knew with my mind there's nothing to be annoyed about. I mean, of course people ask, and of course we discuss. It's in every interaction is talking about the price and budgets, and they are always different. I just realized that most often until now I got approached by people that already were aware that there is a certain type of monetary involvement, and they were in their minds fine with it. And so I realized that I got kind of spoiled, that I didn't even have to justify or explain. And then when I had to, like 2-3 times in a row almost, it annoyed me, because I thought why? And then I thought about it, and I always do it, but in a different, I always explain, but in a different type of setting, and people usually know what they are facing. I have these things written up on my webpage as well, but of course it's not always the case. So that triggered me, and I felt a little bit annoyed by it, and then I, without somehow taking it personally against the other people or the companies, because I'm aware that there are sometimes certain budgets, and if they don't have more, they just don't have more. That's the way it works in business. And then I started questioning, okay, does that mean that people don't see the value? And why am I suddenly attracting this? Or why does this come into my space where it didn't, come there before? Does that mean I start not valuing this type of work? All these kinds of, overthinking and analyzing thoughts. And then I thought maybe I should just talk about it and explain a little bit what actually goes into a scientific illustration. And that's all personal. It's from my perspective and how I do things. Maybe I'm sure some of these things also count for the scientific illustrators. Because I thought about all of these things, and I just thought to share it with you, so in case you're interested. So first of all, there is all these technicalities, the science, the knowledge, the concepts, the hypotheses that go into scientific illustrations from the scientist, and they are communicating it to me, who's also a scientist. So my competence of being a scientist myself, having done my PhD, goes into this. Then this interaction, this discussion, questions back and forth, and understanding, developing a concept, sometimes coming up with a concept, and then translating it into a piece of art, So my skills of being an artist come into this. Also my knowledge working with a journal, so behind the scenes when it comes to publishing, play into that. Everything technical when it comes to layout, design, colors, everything, this gets into it. Then my experience over the more than last 4 years that I've done this goes into this as well. So the knowledge that I acquired doing all kinds of different scientific illustrations for all kinds of different areas with different styles, all this comes into place. Getting better and better with time, being more and more efficient gets into this. Then, developing sketches, discussing back and forth, final versions, revisions, different options gets into this as well. The fact that my clients can come to me and completely outsource it and giving them a piece of freedom, a little bit of less stress, sometimes way more less stress comes into it. They don't have to worry about this at all. They can actually focus on their competences, what they are good at, without being bothered by anything related to this creative task of making a scientific illustration and properly depicting the work. They can actually do the work. All kinds of support on the way, questions at any time, changes at any time gets into this. So there's all these things, and the time saving and the stress saving, again, super important for them. And then the really important part that's also going in there is my time. The hours of the day, of the week, the month that I spend on delivering this service to another person. This is super valuable for me. My time, how I spend my lifetime, is of tremendous importance to me. So this is monetary speaking, it's invaluable. I chose to do this because I want to, and I love this, and all the energy that I put, that's another really important thing. The energy that I put into this gets into the illustration. The energy that I have with the client, talking about it, getting excited, all the love that's coming from their side and from my side doing this, gets into the illustration, gets spread then to whoever looks at it. This is invaluable. It's basically priceless if I would want to put a price tag on it. But because it is so important to me how I spend my time, and this is why I decided to become a scientific illustrator, because I feel that's worthy of my time. So that is what the client pays for, plus all the technicalities of my knowledge, but to me, even though I know that it's quite special, very niche and very specific and a really great combination of skills, it's lesser of importance than, again, the time that I spend and the energy and the thoughts and the emotions and the feelings that I pour into the science, into the illustration. So this is what my clients pay for. And this is why I cannot compromise on the time and how I am compensated. In some cases I do, because there are certain work setups where it's reasonable to find a compromise, and I do that. And in these cases that just happened, it was poking at me to make me think and realize again, why am I doing it? And is it, I do see the worth and I want to do it, and what I provide is super valuable, not only for me but for others, for the world, and that's something that makes me very happy. So yeah, this is what I wanted to share with you today. And I'd love to hear your thoughts as usual. Feel free to throw out what you think, and otherwise I wish you a nice Monday and a great week, and talk to you next week. Bye bye.